guys, Kelly here, and today I am bringing you a beginner's slow flow class. So we're going to spend a little bit longer in the poses just so we can go over alignment and make sure that you're moving into the poses properly. Really important here that you focus on your breath and focus on your gaze. So you don't want to be like looking around the room. That sort of signifies that your mind is racing and you're not focused. Pick one spot to look at when we get into each pose, and you'll notice that you're able to go inward and focus on the body and the alignment and the breath more than what's happening in your life off the mat. Okay, so if you have 2 blocks and a strap, that would be excellent. We may need them today, so you can grab those. If not, a belt or a scarf works fine in replacement of the strap, and books can work well for blocks too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll just start in easy seated pose. So ankles in front of one another, knees are down and they should be below the hips. So if you're sitting and the hips are really tight and the knees are up, you're going to want to grab a block or a pillow and sit on it. And if you've got a pillow, you'll want to sit more towards the front of the pillow and sort of roll the pelvis down. If you've got a block, then you can just sit completely up on the block like so, and that should bring the knees down a bit. Okay? So whatever's comfortable for you. Go ahead and rest your hands somewhere in the lap. Shoulder blades are pushing down towards the hips. The heart is lifted, gazing up slightly in the direction that the heart is sort of pointing. Go ahead and close your eyes. And here, just use your natural breath. So before you try to force anything in the body, just breathe naturally. And notice if the breath naturally comes from the low belly, the diaphragm, or the lungs. Notice if the breath is shallow or deep. And notice the temperature of the breath, whether it's cool or warm. I'm not changing anything as I listed those characteristics, just noticing your natural flow of air. Now, throughout our yoga practice, we're going to want to try to keep the breath in and out of the nose. If you're newer to yoga or newer to breathing like that, it's going to feel really difficult. So as best as you can, stick with the inhales and exhales through the nose. If you need to take an exhale out of the mouth to release, that's totally fine. But then return to the nostril breath. Now gently, if you are still breathing normally, which you should be, start to take the inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale, release something. One more time. Now inhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. Inhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. One more time. Now, either return to your normal breath, or if you can start to incorporate the inhales and exhales through the nose, do that now. Nice and deep as you can. And spend just a second or two in that pause between the inhale and the exhale and the exhale and the inhale. So for a moment, you're holding the breath in as you inhale. Pause. Exhale. Hold the breath out. Pause. And that hold the breath out, you're pulling the belly button back just a bit to engage the core slightly. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale. Pause for a second. Exhale. Last one. Gently blink the eyes open. And roll onto your hands and knees for cat and cow. So how we were breathing at the very end there is how we're going to want to breathe throughout our flow. So again, an inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And if I'm going a little bit faster than what you can breathe to, then listen to the breath first and foremost. Follow that versus me. So if you end up a pose or 2 behind, no big deal. You follow along still, but breathe, okay? All right, so shoulders are over the wrists. Fingers are clawing into the mat, and the knees are underneath the hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever works for you. We're going to do a couple rounds of cat and cow to warm up the spine. So on our inhale, we're going to extend the sit bones up and back, drop the heart like a rock between the thumbs, and gaze up, and this is cow pose. Keep the shoulders pushing down the back and active, and the belly button pulling towards the spine. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, push down into the earth with the hands and the knees and start to round through the back. Like you're trying to tuck like your chin towards your pubic bone here. Really round on the exhale. Inhale back into cow. Exhale, push down, round, and cat. Keep moving with your breath. Those pauses that we're taking between the inhales and the exhale should be where you're sort of finding a little bit deeper expression of the pose. So maybe you're rounding your back a little bit more, feeling more of a stretch between the shoulders. And as you inhale and drop into cow, maybe you're able to tilt the sit bones up, drop the heart a little bit heavier. Again, it's that you're exhaling as you're moving into the pose. The pause is the deepest expression. Inhaling into cow. Pause is the deepest expression. 2 more. Last cow, inhaling. And then keep the sort of arch in the back, and as you drop your bottom towards your heels, your heart keeps pulling, pulling, pulling forward, and gently rest back into child's pose. Hands can reach a little bit more forward. Forehead rests on the mat. Maybe here, if the wrists were a little agitated with cat and cow from all the weight, you can roll the wrists out in opposite directions here. Just kind of make little circles, one direction and the other. And we'll come back up to hands and knees. Now this one I call sexy cow. What you're gonna do is have that arch in the back, but then pull the belly button towards the spine to sort of tuck the tailbone under a bit. So this is our cow pose. We want to engage the core and the pelvic floor and just tuck the tailbone under just a tad. So a slight little arch in the back still. What you're going to do is look over the right shoulder, and like your right shoulder and right hip are trying to kiss, squeeze them towards one another. You'll feel an activation in the right side body, but a stretch through the left. And then come back towards center. Take an inhale. Exhale, look over the left shoulder, squeeze the left hip and left shoulder towards one another. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale center. One more to each side. I hope you feel like sexy cows. Inhale center. Exhale to the left. I know I do. Inhale, go back to center. Moving into down dog. Tuck your toes. Lift the hips up and towards the back of the mat into down dog. Now here in down dog, let's start building our foundation from the ground up. So our hands firmly planted into the earth, the fingertips are clawing at the mat a bit. Our feet, heels can be lifted. That just means you're a bit tighter in the hamstrings. So just gently work on pushing the hands down and forward to drop a little extra weight in the heels, and that will create a really nice stretch to the hamstrings. Otherwise, bent knee, heels up is fine. Now, my shoulders are plugging into the shoulder sockets, and I'm wrapping my triceps around and forward. So from the side, stay in down dog, just look at me. From the front, shoulders pushing back, wrapping my triceps around, and then here create some nice space for me to bring my ears in line with my biceps, and my shoulders are strong. So another way that you can think of it is like you're trying to wrap the elbow crease towards the front of the mat to be parallel to the short edge of the mat. Okay, so still holding your down dog. If these cues are a little crazy sounding right now, just do the best that you can. Work at it every time you get on your mat, and eventually one day it's just going to click for you, and it's amazing. So if the knees are bent and the heels are lifted, this is great because you have some space here to now push the tailbones up towards the sky, create a little arch in the back. And now, even if you can't bring the heels to the earth, just drop a little extra weight in the heels. Core is engaged, belly button pulling back. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Next, inhale, look forward. And then exhale, gently walk the feet forward to meet the hands. As far as you can go, and if your hands have to walk back to meet your feet, that's fine. Feet are hip distance apart, slight bend in the knees, fingertips to the earth, or this is where your blocks can come in handy. Inhale, pull the heart forward, spread the sit bones towards the back of the mat, lengthen through the spine, and then on your exhale, fold. Dropping the head, releasing the neck completely. Keep the hands on the blocks, or you can grab hold of opposite elbows and allow this weight in the arms to drop you over the legs as well. Feeling a nice hamstring stretch. You don't have to stay in one place here, so you don't just have to drop in and hold. If it feels good to pedal out the knees or bend the knees deeply and express the sit bones up towards the sky and just feel a really deep stretch for like a second, you can move like this too. Otherwise, holding, totally good. 2 more breaths. Fingertips to the earth or your blocks. Inhaling, flat back, sit bones spread away, head reaches towards the top of the mat. Take an inhale. On your exhale, right foot is going to slowly reach back. Slowly bend the left knee. Drop the right foot to the back of the mat. And then sweetly drop the right knee. Hands can come back, or blocks can come back, in line with the left foot. And here, right toes tucked or untucked. Pull the right knee and the left heel towards one another. So see this energetic action here? This is what we want. Pulling the feet towards one another, activating, firing up the legs, and then on your next inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. Keep the shoulder blades weighted down. Maybe the arms are forward on an angle and not directly up. That's fine. 2 more breaths. Now hands are going to come down, earth or block. Tuck the right toes if they aren't, lift the right knee. And then walk your hands over to the right side of the mat. Turn the feet parallel to one another as you go. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Bend the knees slightly and push the sit bones up and back. Take an inhale, flat back. And then exhale once again, just fold and drop in. Maybe your hands can come to the earth. Maybe they come in line with the feet. If they're in line with the feet, I want you to bend the elbows back like you're trying to bend them between or underneath the legs here. And then try to reach your head towards the earth. 2 more breaths. Inhale to walk the hands forward, maybe grabbing your blocks again. And exhale, walk hands towards the top of the mat, turning the feet once again to point forward. Go ahead and remove your blocks, move your blocks forward, step into the left foot, right foot meets the left top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, looking forward, sit bones back. And exhale to fold. And hang out in your forward fold, whatever variation you would like to take. Next inhale, looking forward, flat back. Exhale, left leg lifts up. Slowly bend the right knee. Drop the left foot towards the back of the mat. Sweetly bring the left knee down. Hands can come back in line with the right foot. Pull the right heel and left knee towards one another to sort of tuck the tailbone. Keep this engagement. Push into the right foot to lift the arms. Low lunge. Keep the right heel and left knee pulling towards the midline. 1 more breath. Exhaling, hands come down to the blocks or the earth. Tuck the left toes if they aren't already. Lift the left knee. And walk back around towards the left with your blocks, turning the feet parallel to one another as you go. Bend the knees. Sit bones lift up towards the sky. This time, left hand is going to come center under the face. The right arm is going to reach up to the sky. If that's too intense between the shoulders, bring your right hand to the low back. Drop a little extra weight into that left hip, the back hip, to square off the hips. So see, I'm on an angle here on my bottom, pushing weight to the left. Now I'm neutral. And I can twist here. Gazing at one point, either the ground, looking off to the side, or if you've got the flexibility, straight up to the sky. And the right hand's going to come down in place of the left. Take an inhale, lengthen through the spine and sit bones. Exhale to twist. Left hand comes down. Walk the hands towards the front of the mat. Bend into the right knee. You can move your blocks and step the right foot to the back of the mat for downward facing dog. See if your heels can drop a little bit more towards the earth. But again, building the pose from the ground up. Hands and balls of the feet at least, rooted firmly into the earth. Spinning the triceps forward, shoulders down the back, heart reaches towards the thighs, sit bones up, heels weighted. Next, exhale, gently walk the feet as close to the hands as you can, and then the hands come back to meet the feet. Hands on blocks or the earth. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, right leg lifts. Slowly bend the left knee, drop the right foot to the back of the mat. Fingertips stay to the earth or on your block. Now here, again, pulling the left heel and the right foot towards one another. So I'm open a little bit here in my hips by pulling towards the midline that squares off my hips. Push down into the left foot and rise for high lunge. Bend the right knee just a bit. Tuck the tailbone under, like you're trying to really push the knee towards the top of the mat. Keep the core engaged, and then grow and straighten, but keep the bottom tucked under. Gaze on one point. Breath as deep as you can in and out of the nose. Fingertips come down to the earth or your block. Gently swivel this right heel so that the back foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Once again, push down into the left foot, cartwheel the arms open, and look to the right for warrior two. Look down, you should be able to see your left big toe. And then the hips here are opening up to the right. So what I like to do when I'm first coming into warrior two is right hand on the hip, opening up through the right hip, pushing this left knee back, bending a little bit deeper into the left knee. Hands come down, swivel onto the ball of the right foot, and step forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling a flat back, looking forward. Exhale, left leg lifts up. Slowly bend the right knee. Drop the left foot to the back of the mat. Right heel and left foot pull towards one another to square off the hips. Press into the earth with the right foot and rise. Low lunge or high lunge. Left knee can bend again, tucking the pelvis under. Keep that and grow. Trying to straighten the left leg does not have to go straight today. Exhaling, hands come to the earth or your block. Swivel the left heel down, parallel to the back of the mat. Push into the right foot, cartwheel the arms, rise, warrior two. Again, right hand can go on the knee, left hand to the hip, and just sort of open the hips away from one another. See if you can bend a little deeper in the right knee. One more breath. Hands come down, roll onto the ball of the left foot, bend into the right knee. Blocks can go off to the side, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. And drop to the knees. Inhaling cow, heart forward. And exhale as if the sit bones and the heart are pulling away from one another. Keep extending the heart forward as you drop into child's pose. just nice and easy. Crawl your way forward and onto your stomach. Bring your hands onto fingertips, shoulder distance off of the mat quite a bit. Tops of the feet press into the mat. Pelvis tucks under, core is engaged. On your inhale, look down at the heart and slowly begin to rise. Heart forward, armpits up by the ears. And exhale, slowly release. Adding on to that, you can move the fingertips a bit closer. Inhale, look at the heart, lift, puff up. Now on the exhale, drop the shoulders down the back and start to push the heart forward, gaze ahead. Exhaling to come down slower than you want to. If you want to go deeper, hands come closer. Next inhale, puff up, lift the heart. Exhale, shoulders drop back, heart expresses forward, gaze forward. Keep the lower body active, belly button pulling towards the spine. Slowly release. Stack your hands one on top of the other, rest your forehead. You can shake the hips from side to side to release the low back. If there was any pain in the low back doing those, you want to try to engage the core a bit more. That will help to protect the low back. Go ahead and roll over onto your stomach, or onto your back from your stomach. And then cross the right ankle on top of the left and push the right knee away from the face. Right ankle on top of the left knee. Grab hold behind the left thigh and nice and easy pull the left knee and therefore right ankle towards the heart, towards the face. Release, left foot back to the earth, right foot plants and switch, left ankle on top of the right knee, left knee moves away from the face, and clasp around the right thigh, pulling the right knee in towards the heart and towards the face. If the left knee is aggravated, flex the toes or release the pull on the right thigh just a bit. Gently release, bring the knees into the chest. And then take an inhale and pull the forehead up towards the knees. Give yourself a squeeze. Exhale, release down into Shavasana. to wiggle your fingers and toes. Rock the head from side to side. Gently coax some bigger movements and wiggles out of the body. On your next inhale, arms reach up overhead, elongation stretch. Exhale to pull the knees into the heart. Rock over to the right side, resting here for a breath. And keeping the eyes closed, make your way up to an easy seated pose. Again, hands are resting somewhere in the lap. Breath continues in and out of the nose. Just notice the differences in the body from when you started to now. Bring the hands to prayer pose, heart center, bowing the head to seal in today's practice. And namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you feel really great. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.